What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? We are back for part 2, y'all, of our Tuffy Talk After Dark.
After Dark.
There we go, Greg. Thank you. So with that being said, if you haven't checked out, first and foremost, again, this is a continuation series based off of the January 9th live stream. So if you haven't checked out the live stream yet, go do that first and then check out part 1 and then come right back here for part 2, y'all. But we've been talking a lot of football, and just to kind of wrap up, there was one tweet a leak which I thought was absolutely hilarious, but it was from Wolfpack Stats, and it was basically like the dominoes, where it was like the teeny tiny domino at the bottom, and you hit it, and then knocks over this ginormous domino at the end. And basically, the smallest domino is Thayer Thomas walking on, and then the biggest domino is Noah Rogers comes home to NC State. And just a little bit of context for those that are not aware: Noah Rogers and the Thomas family, aka Drake, Lex, and Thayer, are all really, really close. Work out together a lot, have worked together a lot for a long time.
I think there was a video like where they're on vacation, but weren't they like in South Carolina working out?
Correct. They were on vacation together, working out together.
Yeah.
And obviously the most recent example is a picture which we actually tweeted out from Thayer Thomas's Instagram, where it was the 2017 Louisville game, and Thayer Thomas had his arms around Noah Rogers on his left side, and then Lex Thomas on his right side. And it's crazy to see how young all three of them look. But like literally from that moment that Thayer Thomas walked on to NC State was arguably one of the biggest moves in the Doeren era. I mean, like, we argue is one of the biggest. Like, it was a game changer, bringing on Thayer Thomas, Drake Thomas, and now getting Noah Rogers. Like, you could argue it. Like, it wasn't like he didn't intend for that to happen. It just worked out that way.
Yeah.
It's all about relationships at the end of the day. I mean, it's building relationships.
I mean,
that's a good byproduct.
I mean, if Thayer Thomas, had gone to some random non-North Carolina school, and Drake Thomas was getting recruited by us and Michigan were his final two, would he have chosen Michigan at the end of the day instead of us? So it really was a game changer.
And that's the crazy thing too, is like Thayer was a walk-on only because he was a baseball player first, right? Like, I feel like he wouldn't have been a walk-on had he not been a baseball player. So what if he doesn't give up baseball? It's funny how things work when you look at the big picture.
Absolutely. Now, I do want to ask this question that Saturday Road came out with a tweet saying, which again, I mean, Saturday Road is it's a college football fan account. It's not necessarily the big time, but basically they came out with a list of ACC's most likely college football playoff contenders 2024 and listed FSU, Clemson, NC State, and Virginia Tech. And I think that I'm along with what. Yeah. Okay,
that's the one you throw in there to get the dark
horse.
Yeah,
to get the clicks.
Yeah.
Being a former Blacksburg, shower, maybe you have a little bit more bias towards Virginia Tech than us, but
no,
I can't get around all. I do not understand all this offseason VT hype. I really don't get it.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. They have transfers that came in.
Sure,
I don't think there's a lot of leaving. Kyron Drones has the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
He's an athletic guy that you can't teach what he can do athletically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What's their schedule look like? Is it an easy schedule?
I don't understand top 4 status.
Right, in the ACC, you mean?
So if it were me, I would replace Virginia Tech with Louisville.
Yeah, I mean, Louisville has to be on that list.
But, I mean, I think you could argue that Virginia Tech could be a top 6 team in the ACC next year.
Yes.
I think that's the dark horse
fair.
Potential for them.
But that doesn't get you anywhere now because you don't have the two
right.
divisions.
But could I see? But see, what did they finish this year? 6-6.
Yeah,
5-7.
No, they won their bowl game, so they should be 7-6.
I'm talking regular season.
Oh, regular 6. They were
6-6.
Yeah.
Could I see them get to 8-4 next season? Yes. But I don't know what their schedule looks like. So
I got their schedule right here.
Okay.
At Vandy, Marshall,
Win.
At Old Dominion. Well, they lost to Marshall this year. So.
Yeah, I know, but they're going to be better next year, I think. And Marshall, I think, lost their QB.
At Old Dominion, which they've lost to at Old Dominion before.
I know, can't overlook that.
Again, just keeping it real. Just keeping it real. Rutgers, Virginia
should be win. Virginia? Well, I don't know. I'm going to say L there because Castellanos is not a bad quarterback for Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia's doing some stuff. But again, I still think that's winnable.
Virginia Tech, okay.
It's at home. That game's at home.
Okay.
Oh, in Blacksburg?
Yeah.
Hey, Greg, for the sake of time, y'all, just go ahead, Greg, and just list out the rest of the schedule.
At Duke, at Miami, at Stanford, at Syracuse, Boston College, Clemson, Georgia Tech.
That
doesn't scream top 2. But it doesn't scream top 2.
No Florida State, no Louisville, no
Clemson.
NC State.
Clemson and Georgia Tech. All their hard games minus Miami is at home.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, like a good maybe. I just I could see top 6. I could see maybe 8-4. But that's just me is making some assumptions without having really studied the
just
schedule,
not enough firepower there.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. No. But I think for me though, it's because I truly do think that with the fact that we have such a deep wide receiver room, more than likely looking at 2025, you're not going to keep all these guys for 2025. More likely some of these guys that are, sat, put on red shirt could decide they want to go somewhere where they have more guarantee of playing time.
Yeah. Grimes has only got 1 year left, right?
Correct.
So you're going to eliminate one guy there. I think Collins only has.
Or Rogers isn't going anywhere, but
I think So Rogers won't go anywhere because he can't.
Like a Jamar Boston and Christian Zachary,
I think Collins.
The freshman are what you got to have. The freshman you have to be concerned about transferring potentially.
Yeah, I think Collins is gone after this year, right?
I believe
Probably.
so.
Yeah,
I think he had 2 years eligibility left.
Yeah,
maybe no. He had 3. Did he have 3? He used 1.
Yeah,
because he stopped. So
he might have 2 years eligibility left.
Okay.
I think.
All right, but he may end up graduating, so then he might be on the free transfer. Yeah. Again, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. So anyway, the one thing I will say is we have been strong at the NIL, and we could maybe talk some of these guys staying another year, right, with some NIL money. That's the one thing that we don't know that could come into play with all of that.
Yeah, true. So basically, the point being is that I really do believe, for me, it's ACC Championship or bust. It's all there. There's no reason why ACC Championship shouldn't be on the bucket, especially because of the fact, I saw who's the most likely Heisman contenders from the ACC, and it listed Kevin Concepcion, listed Cade Klubnik, and DJ Uyunglele.
That was the worst list.
Guys. And Ryan Williams put a tweet out being like, even Clemson fans would say there's no way Cade Klubnik should be on that list. And there is no way on God's green earth DJ Uyunglele should be anywhere close to any kind of Heisman list whatsoever. Yeah. I will stamp my flag in that. That is crazy.
So I had a question I kind of wanted to ask on the live stream, but I was like, maybe I'll bite my tongue, but maybe this is the place to talk about it. And I love Dave Doeren. Is Dave Doeren on the hot seat if he doesn't get it done next year?
No, I don't think so.
I think people question what's the deal, but I don't think he's on the hot seat.
Well, I mean, but if it's not next year, when is it?
Exactly. I agree.
It depends on how bad.
Right. I mean, if we get decimated by injuries and freak things happen, maybe.
Here's my thing. Here, let me make, I think, probably what the biggest reasoning why he won't be on the hot seat is going to be. And then Michael, I want to get your thoughts on it. At the end of the day, it is not a hidden secret that Doeren will probably be the head coach for a couple more years, and then Tony Gibson is the presumptive guy to take over as head coach.
At least that's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like. That's what it's setting up to be, because then why is Tony Gibson still here? He get paid more money and have more opportunities being a head coach. He's gotten calls, no doubt about it. So what is keeping him here? It has to be that he's the presumptive guy to take over. And because, again, Doeren's already has said that by 55, he wants to retire and go open his own, tackle and bait shop. And there's no doubt that being basically the job that he took on is now changed completely and multiplied times 2. Now that he has to worry about raising money for NIL, transfer portal, things like that. So there's no doubt it's taking a toll. So in my opinion, that's the biggest reason why no, because I say that if it doesn't happen next year, man, we're going to hear it from a lot of those state fans saying it's year 12. When is it going to happen?
And that's the only reason that's the reason I bring it up, because this screams, this whole situation screams to me, being a big Bucks fan, that all the years that Tony Dungy got us there, right, on the cusp, on the verge, and then someone swooped in, i.e. John Gruden, and got him a Super Bowl. Like, this kind of feels the same way. But anyway, Michael, go ahead.
I mean, it depends on how bad of a year we're talking. If he goes 8-4, 9-3, okay, that's sure it's underachieving, but like
8-4.
But like,
so I'm trying to think for myself in the.
That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, he's brought us to a point where 8-4 is a bad season. There's
right, but 8-4. But see, at some point he has to get you over the hump, right?
Yeah,
yeah. But I'm just thinking about where I would be in the season. Like if I went into the season and I knew I had lost to Tennessee, Clemson, Georgia Tech, and I'm saying, well, I'm saying like
UNC.
Worst case scenario.
Well, he's probably not using UNC because he hasn't been in a few years. But
I'm giving you a scenario.
Yeah.
I think if he loses UNC, I think it has to add a little flavor to it.
Especially if they're the reason we don't make the play. If they wouldn't make.
If I were to come in, well, I think. Side note, I think to get in the 12-team playoff, you're going to have to get 10 wins. I think if you look
unless
at
you win the conference. Well, you can go 8-4 and win the conference and make it the playoff.
Yeah, but that's an outlier. If you
all you got to do is win all your ACC games.
You could go 6-6 and win the conference, but you're not doing that. You're not even going to be in that situation. So if you're 8-4, you're not going to be in the conference championship.
Yeah, dude. All you have to do is win all your ACC games.
Yeah, there's 4 out of conference games. If you lose all 4, but then you win all 8 conference games, then
you say we win all non-conference and win all.
Yeah, you go 9-4. You go 9-4.
Okay, Greg, that would be a very NC State thing to do.
That would be though, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that's going to happen. We're not losing to Northern Illinois. I can guarantee you that.
Or Western Carolina, right?
Correct.
But yeah, it's
oh my God, could you imagine losing to West Carolina the first game of the season?
Now, how about that for a hot seat? Let's say you win every ACC game, but you lose to Western, Northern.
That doesn't matter. Then you're still in the ACC championship. So
yeah,
I don't know.
To me, I'm thinking like I would be looking at this team and probably be like, what the heck? I honestly would do that. I'd be like, what the heck? Like all that hype. But for me, I would be looking at. I still have question marks that make me say, look, 8-4, 9-3. Like I want to make sure I know my corners are good now. I want to make sure I know we can replace stuff with Peyton Wilson could. You're not going to. You can't replace Peyton Wilson individually. You're going to have to
collectively.
Yeah, you're going to have to figure out. I didn't think our defense looked great against whoever was playing a bowl game. Kansas State. I mean, like Kansas State is not a world beater. They had the backup quarterback, and they didn't make us look very good on defense. And I thought, so to me, that's a concern for me next season until it isn't.
Yeah, but I think our offense is going to be so much better. You can kind of overcome some of that defensive stuff.
And I trust Tony Gibson, but I would think 9-3. I would probably be like, okay, we're 9-3, good season. Dang, why could we just get that 4 more points to beat whoever?
Tech,
yeah. Why couldn't we do that on the road? Like we just got I would have been like, to your point, I would probably sitting here thinking, Greg, kind of stewing on it, like, what the heck? And so I think you got a fair point. I think his seat would get warm.
But that's crazy, right?
It would be warm. Reality would be people would be not happy about it.
I mean, we go 9-3 because I don't see us losing. I could see us a scenario where we lose 1 game out of conference, so that would be in the Tennessee game, and potentially losing 2 ACC games. But because if you lose 3, you're probably definitely out of the ACC race. If you lose 2, depending on who they are, you're in the conversation.
But to Michael's point, I see him shaking his head earlier. Like I don't think he should be mad about that, right? I think he should be like 9-3.
Yeah.
I mean, you've won 3/4 of your games, right? I mean, like,
I get it. But you haven't got to that ACC championship game in 40+ years.
What exactly?
I get it.
I think that's an argument the other way. Nobody's done it in 40.
So, Greg, would you? Okay, let's put this thing, Greg. Would you think Doeren's on the hot seat? Would you put Doeren on the hot seat? Because you keep going back to it.
Yeah, I have a hard time.
See,
I do. I do have a hard time putting him on the hot seat, but I don't think you're wrong, because that's 12 years of the coach being there, and you've got an Independence Bowl trophy, and you've got
this is assuming everybody's healthy,
a Sun Bowl.
Right?
Yeah, of course. Right. Yeah, I mean injuries.
Grayson McCall goes down.
I mean Grayson McCall goes down.
Ethan Rhodes time.
Yeah, but I mean, all you have to show, and again, this is just what it is you have an Independence Bowl trophy and a Sun Bowl trophy really to show for it.
Yep, I agree. I mean, you've lost 4 bowl games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But also, side note, we're going to go get another quarterback after the spring transfer portal window for sure to back up Grayson. But I mean,
I hope not, because I love Dave Doeren.
There has not been a bigger proponent of Dave Doeren than me. I mean, how many live streams have I not brought up Dave Doeren being the greatest NCAA football coach of all time?
I mean, record wise, it shows he is.
And I'm telling you that my bar for next year, like if we do less than this, I'm disappointed. If we do more than this, I'm happy. I think you keep them. Is a loss to Tennessee, a loss to Clemson, an ACC championship appearance. If we do less than that, I'm not.
So basically, your expectation, your bar is 10 wins.
An ACC championship game appearance.
Okay, your bar is championship
11.
appearance.
10.
Yes.
Yeah, 10.
So what happens if you're 9-3 and you make an appearance?
That's okay.
9-3 make an appearance. Okay, I could.
So I think your bar is ACC championship or ACC championship
really.
Game.
Not losing 2 games.
That's
ACC,
a really high bar, but I get you. I get you.
Why should it not be? I mean, that's your bar anyway.
I mean, the standard's the standard, right? That's the whole expression. I'm not saying it's not the case. Yep. I'm just like,
right. Well, because the reason why I say is because one of the other things which I harp on all the time
didn't think
is
this
Mark
was going
Godfrey.
down this road. I just was asking that question.
Hey, it's a great conversation.
You let us there,
is that at the end of the day, one of the things which I have proponed on a ton is how Mark Gottfried always focused on the NCAA tournament. He never focused on winning the ACC championship. He never focused on it. And so at the end of the day, if I harped on Mark Gottfried, not focused on ACC championship, I got to harp on Doeren eventually because of the fact that we have the longest drought in college sports in championships, like over 40 years.
Can I say this real quick?
Get over it.
I'm going to go on record for saying this. Like, to me, my goal next year, my bar is 10 wins, right? You have this team that easy of a schedule, relatively speaking, right? Relatively speaking.
Too.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Western Carolina, Northern Illinois, Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
Louisiana Tech might be a little bit of a
tricky,
a little bit something tricky. Yeah. Okay. Stanford.
Nope.
Okay. No. Cal.
Nope.
Fighting Ben Finley's. You've got Clemson on the road. Okay, sure. You've got Georgia Tech on the road. A little sneaky. Okay. But then you've got you should beat Georgia Tech. You should beat UNC next year. You should beat Duke at home. You should beat Stanford at home. You should beat Syracuse at home with a new coach. You should beat Wake Forest at home. You should beat all of these teams. The only I can think of like 4 teams maybe that I would be kind of like
right
about, and I could see us winning half of them. To me, 10 wins is my goal for next season. If we get less than 10 wins, personally, I will be disappointed. If we're at 10 wins and we don't make the championship, I'm going to be like who the heck got more wins than us, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if I'll be disappointed. It'd be like I'll be disappointed in its own way because I'll be like frustrated we couldn't get in.
Especially if you're saying you get 10 wins, you're losing 2. So you're saying losing to Tennessee and Clemson, or you're losing the 2 ACC games, because that does matter. That does matter.
Well, I know it does. I'm going to say let's assume I lose Tennessee because I think Tennessee's a good team next year.
Yeah, I think they're really good,
and they know who their quarterback is, just like State does, but they've already got in the system. So then. You know, Clemson, you haven't won at Clemson, so maybe that's the loss. But you shouldn't be losing to Georgia Tech and UNC right now, in my opinion. You should not be. You should be winning against Stanford, Syracuse, Wake Forest, Cal, and all the others.
And Wake.
Like, you should win all those games. The schedule is easy. All the media people are like looking at it and are like, state schedule next year is like a cream puff. And if you drop those games, like State could be a 10-2 team next season, depending on those like losses, and not get in the playoff. Because there are some 10-2 teams, but if you're 10-2 in the ACC, you're probably in the championship game, so you're probably in. But my bar is 10 wins. That's my standard for like being satisfied with the season based upon what we have coming in, what we are, where we're at now in the ACC, where we stand in the pecking order, and who we play. We don't play Florida State. We don't play Louisville. So we don't play Miami. If you're worried about Miami, I'm not even worried about Miami. So we don't play Virginia Tech. If you're talking about that, one of the top 4 teams that one guy put out there. So I see 10 wins is doable. I do. I don't think it's outside the realm of possibility to say. If it's 9-3, I'll be like, Okay, yeah. Solid season. Great. Whoop-de-doo is kind of where I'm coming from.
Yep. Yeah. Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out. So glad we could spend like a minute or two talking about that. But now moving back.
Well, I want to get on record for saying it. Like, I mean, you guys talking about, like, I think it's 10 wins, my standard next year.
Hey, Greg, listen. Hey, it was a great question. It was a great topic for sure. I'm sure all of our fans just enjoyed every single bit of that for sure. So
I hate that we had to have that conversation, though.
Yeah, I mean,
assuming everybody's healthy.
Well, I hate it, but I love it. I mean, like, at the end of the day, I mean, I'm glad we're in this situation, you know? And at the end of the day, now it's on the coaching staff. I mean, Doeren, he came in, 1 pack, 1 goal.
I love that the standard is 8 to 9 wins, but at some point you have to elevate that.
Well, because at the end of the day, it goes back to, besides injuries, what's the excuse?
Right. Especially, and again, this is the last thing I want to say, especially if you're asking donors to put all this money into Savage Wolves to bring in this talent. Like you are asking us to do what we need to do. Now it's time for the team to do what they need to do.
You have probably the most talented team in a long time. Arguably, maybe the most talented team in NC State history from top to bottom. Arguably,
bro,
in terms of talent.
Bro, we're 200 some days away from football, and we're still talking about it. Like that's like I don't feel like we've been this excited in an off season for a couple of seasons. Like I don't feel like we were this excited last year coming into this season.
It's been since Phillip Rivers. It's probably heading into Phillip Rivers senior year, maybe.
We're pretty hyped about the
21.
Yeah,
22, we picked us less than 10 wins in our preview.
The Devin Leary season, we came back. People were pretty hyped about that. So
right.
Yeah, but either way,
I get what you're saying.
It's a good time. It's a good time. It's a nerve-wracking time, but it's a good time for sure. Real quick though, wanted to kind of talk a little bit of baseball as the preseason rankings came out and had NC State, at least one of the rankings had us at number 19.
Perfect game.
Perfect game has us at number 19, which is awesome to see. Excited to get the season started, and
37 days away.
37 days away.
That's
and
crazy.
We'll definitely make sure, and we'll do a preview. And we'll definitely do a season preview here coming up here in the next week or two. So make sure to stay tuned for that. I'm excited about this team, and I'm excited. And one thing which I want to kind of one topic I want to bring up, and then I want to touch on a couple other topics before we wrap this thing up. But is it kind of funny to anybody else that literally Sam Highfield never like fully announced he's coming back? Like it just like he just never announced he was leaving, and then
it was like Voldemort. He just kind of just disappeared.
Like he just kind of hung around, and then like you see him in the videos today. It's like okay, yeah, I guess he's on the team. Like
I don't think he's getting cut.
Yeah. I don't think he's getting cut. I don't think he's transferring. I don't think he's going pro. Yeah, no. Yeah. Which I mean, like after his performance in the regional, I'm unfortunately not too shocked. Just there's so much
I mean, this is his second year back from his injury issues. So hopefully he's really back, and you can make a case he might be the third best pitcher on this staff,
which is mind-boggling. Seriously, mind-boggling. So very, very excited to see what this team can do, and feel very, very confident that this team could definitely make a run. But again, I think that's pretty much what you're going to expect with Elliot Avon is, top 25.
Arm's going to be good this year. Our pitching is going to be really good this year. Yeah. And our defense is going to be good. We might be winning some ball games 4-3, 3-2, at least until we figure out how the bats are going to work. But I think our defense is going to be really good. I think we got good team speed. Like we'll talk all about this later, but there's a lot to be positive about. Okay. And ACC is going to be stacked again this year, so it's not going to be. Finishing 4th or 5th sounds kind of depressing, but if it's 4th or 5th, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I think I saw the in the preseason poll. There's 7-8 teams in the top 25.
Yeah, probably. I know Wake's right up there. Carolina's up there.
Duke,
Louisville, Duke, and
Wake's
Virginia.
number 1.
Yeah, Virginia. I think Virginia was up there too.
All the North Carolina Power 5 schools basically are in there, plus ECU and
Coastal too. Yeah,
ECU.
I mean,
they'll be on the schedule. So it's gonna be a fun schedule.
Yeah,
especially going to Hawaii.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, because Greg, you said you were gonna work that out. Right?
I'm already there. I already have my plane tickets and everything.
Let's go.
I'll be out there for 2 weeks.
So real quick, I want to spend like 30 seconds real quick touching on gymnastics as the gymnastics season started this past Saturday at Georgia, where they unfortunately lost 196.20 to 194.225. Literally, and my wife and I were talking about it, literally the worst performance Ashley and I have ever seen from in-state gymnastics. It was bad. We had 4 different falls from the different competitions. Like literally on beam alone, we had three gymnasts fall off the beam. And but the funny thing, which is I think that's something that kind of lasts in my head, because like basically just remind everybody, this is the first year where we have ACC gymnastics back. We used to have ACC gymnastics, now it's back. And there was in the preseason like media polls, it was basically between us and UNC to win it all. Literally, it was the worst performance I've ever seen us have, no doubt about it. And yet, the funny thing is UNC, who again was kind of neck and neck with us of winning the ACC, they got a 193.725 at home. So literally, our worst performance on the road at Georgia in an almost sold out arena still was better than UNC in their first meet at home. So just a interesting.
Georgia's a ranked program, I think, right?
Well, here's the funny thing. So they literally went 7-16 last year, but at the end of the day, first of all, keep in mind the SC gymnastics
that's insane.
Is elite. It's the cream of the crop, and so you can literally lose all those, but still be ranked in top 25. Georgia made it basically to the Sweet 16 of the gymnastics finals, while still going 7-16, quote unquote, record wise last year. So I mean, like it is a solidified program, and like literally, like Georgia actually had it where basically if any of the gymnasts ever get a 10 score, they literally have all this confetti, which they basically put like a crown on the gymnast, and they throw confetti up in there and like shower her like in confetti for it. And NC State, we have nothing like that, which I mean, to me, that just goes to show you, again, the expectation that Georgia gymnastics has over us, which we're just not there yet. And hopefully we will be. I mean, we're working our way up. And so not this weekend. This weekend, they're going to Utah to face BYU, Cal, and Michigan State. But then next weekend, I had the date, January 19th, they go to Carmichael Gymnasium to face UNC. So January 19th, go ahead and put it on your calendars. Carmichael Coliseum, go support these girls, and let's get a huge win. Start off the ACC schedule for gymnastics. It's going to be awesome. So expecting a huge bounce back this weekend.
Is there a cost to go to those meets?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. No.
So even more reason to go support them.
Yeah, 100%. Wrestling, just wanted to spend 2 minutes on that as well. Had a heartbreaking loss for sure to Oklahoma State over the weekend, but then came back and absolutely monster smashed, donkey stomped Hofstra. And the biggest thing which I want to say for those who may be concerned of what's going on with this state wrestling, like are we taking a step back, is I think that there's 2 things this year, because at the end of the day, I want to remind everybody that the non-conference duels do not matter in terms of national, in terms of if you're trying to win a national title, the out of conference duels do not matter. Literally, because at the end of the day, the NCAA champions determined based off individual performance. Now, the only reason it does matter is in terms of qualifying. But at the end of the day, if you can go win an ACC title, you're automatically qualified. So
or if you finish top 2 or 3, you're probably going to make it in.
Exactly. In the ACCs. So
just depends on how many bids the conference gets at each weight class.
But we've been nipping at the heels of winning a team national title for a long time now, and the 2 biggest differences that Pop made this year was, first of all, off-season wise, he made the workouts way less overexerting to really try and keep the guys fresh as we go throughout the season. So that way, come NCAA tournament time, they're not
totally
working on fumes, basically. Yeah, they're not wore out. But then the second thing is that he really made the schedule this year a whole lot tougher.
Yeah,
a lot tougher. I mean, facing Ohio State, you got Cornell coming up. You're facing Ohio State. You're still facing Virginia Tech. Yeah, you still got UNC. You still got Pitt. You still got Virginia. Like, it's a tough schedule. So the guys are going to be we'll come NCAA tournament time. Tested. They'll be battle tested. They probably have faced a lot of these guys already. So, at the end of the day, AC title is 100% still there. In my opinion, this still can go down as the greatest wrestling team in history. To me, Greg, your thoughts, but I see no reason really to worry right now.
Yeah, you just kind of want a good showing in front of your home team when you get an opportunity like that. You bring in Oklahoma State with the profile of that program, and it's a program that you don't get those opportunities to bring those big boys in often to Reynolds. So you kind of want to take advantage of them, and I'm sure there was a lot of. Here's the thing I want to say. When you got a lot of newbies that come to these wrestling matches because they see that Oklahoma State's the number 9 in the team in their country, and they just know the team name, you want to do good to bring those casual fans back, right? And so as you're trying to build your brand, those are opportunities where you want to take advantage of. But like you said, there's still a ton of things out there that are still attainable, and so if you continue to do those things, you will continue to bring in fans. And it was a great showing. I mean, the place was sold out, and I think that was the all-time record for attendance for a wrestling match. It was, yeah, I thought so. But it was fun. I mean, there wasn't a lot to cheer for, so that was kind of thing. But Ryan Jack had a nice showing, and then of course Trent just went out and dominated. Those were probably the two highlights of the evening. But it was a good time. It was fun.
Yep. And then last thing I'll mention as well is softball actually starts up here in 30 days from, again, this is January 9th. So beginning of, I think, first game is February 9th, actually. So literally a month from when we were recording this against Iowa in Clearwater, Florida in the NFCA.
There you go, Michael. There's an opportunity to go see some NC State sports.
Yeah. Go to Clearwater. Go check out NC State softball. And the Lindsay Leftwich debut, I'm telling you, I'm excited about softball, y'all. I think softball is going to be one of those teams where all of a sudden they're going to win 2 or 3 in a row over some big temes, and then a lot of NCAA fans will be like, "Whoa, look at softball." Okay, I see you. I'm very excited about softball. Very bullish on them for sure. So at the end of the day, y'all, again, point being, go support all these sports, y'all. There's a great time to be an NC State fan. There are a lot of sports to go cover, which are way on the up and up, no doubt about it.
Tennis is starting up.
Tennis is starting up. Women's tennis is going to have a phenomenal year once again. Just
we'll have to have our guy Brian back on for his annual appearance and start talking.
Brian Rosenthal. See who he says is going to be the player this year. So. But anyway, y'all, but thank you all so much for tuning in. Really do appreciate it. Hope everybody enjoyed this conversation for sure. And if you did, do us a big favor, hit that like button, and do us a big favor after that. If you don't want to miss out on any NC State content, and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Make sure to give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. We'll see y'all soon, and go Pack, y'all.